Hello, and welcome to Marlins in the morning, in the evening. Uh, when I'm giving this, I I'm gonna sound off today. We did have a good episode planned. Um, in the rare, miraculous event that the Marlins would win, unfortunately, here we are. Just me, Kyle Kruse, no Nick Esposito or Ethan Bernstein. Today, the Marlins have fallen to 0-8. An 0-8 start for the Fish. They lose 8-5 today. Once again, had a 3-run lead. It was 5-2 as late as the sixth inning, I believe. Um, just a disaster, an all-out disaster. Early in the season, there's no, not too much to be excited about. Um, Jake Berger, couple home runs, it's fun. Back home in St. Louis, great day for Berger. He finished the day in the on deck circle. After reaching base 4 times. So uh, wouldn't have hurt to see him come up again with a couple outs in the ninth, maybe get the tying run to the plate. Doesn't matter. Um, I don't think anything was changing about that game. Solid start from Ryan Weathers. 5 innings, 3 hits, 3 runs. He managed. He looked solid early on. Um, yeah, I mean, how much can you touch on? I mean, just a disastrous output once again. Uh, a collapse from the Marlins bullpen. We'll talk about, I guess, the reasoning. We've got Ethan Bernstein here. Well, you know what, Ethan, you have you have anything more positive for me?
Not really.
No.
Not really. It's tough to put a positive spin on 0-8. There's one and only
Yeah.
one. Um, and we'll bring that back. That segment that we implemented last time we fully recorded here. What was it? My delusional take of the day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there you go.
The details.
Marlins are 0-8 to start the season. We can't sugarcoat that. Marlins also started the second half of the season last season 0-8. Um, Granted, they had a little bit of a head start. They had already played half the season. They had a little bit of a cushion. But it's not the first time it's happened. Um, Unfortunately, the only thing you can really do is just start a new season tomorrow. Uh, Hopefully, opening day got delayed about a week and a few days here. And again, this is the delusional take of the day. But Marlins have been here before. They did it last season. It's pretty much the same bunch. They just got to get hot. And it's tough when you have guys like Berger and even Bell. You know, Bell put a charge into one today. TA had 2 hits. Jazz had the 2 bunts, and I like to see that from Jazz. Honestly, you know, you don't see a cleanup batter oftentimes squaring the bunt once, nonetheless twice in a game, but he's got the capability to do that. And to catch the defense sleeping, he's got the power to be able to hit in that 4 spot. But when you have the speed and you're in the middle of an 8-game losing streak, you got to get on base any way, whether it's a walk or a hit or a bunt like that. So I'll keep it, not too much longer on my end, but as far as I'm concerned, season starts tomorrow, and as long as we keep losing, the season will start tomorrow, the next day. So
Um, if I how long do you have? Because I'm going to talk about the seventh inning for a second here. I know you do have to run
I
pretty
got
soon.
to run.
All right, fair
I just
enough.
wanted to hop on to say that.
That's Ethan Bernstein. Don't say, don't say go fish. We're not going to do that anymore. We're finding something new at the end of our
Go
episode.
watch the Panthers after
Go,
after you finish
that
watching
should
this.
be,
Whoever's watching,
that should that should
two
probably be
nothing
our new
already.
catchphrase.
Go watch the Panthers.
Go watch the Panthers.
Go
Go
watch the
watch
Panthers.
the.
2-0 already. All right.
All
Bye.
right, thanks, Ethan. Um, I actually sort of like that. Go watch the Panthers. Maybe in the fall we'll toss in some go watch the Dolphins. Yeah. The seventh inning. Sixto Sanchez has the seventh of the Marlins. They led 5-3 at this point. Sixto, he got a fly out to start the inning, and then Luis Rise on a grounder to second base, a pretty slow roller, um, charges it, misplays it, pushes it off his glove, something just misplays a pretty easy play at second base. And when you make an error and you're on a losing streak, those of us that those of you that have been around baseball know you start to see things like single, single, double immediately after. Marlins 5-3 lead, 3 batters later turned into a 6-5 deficit, and then a couple more runs would come across to score. Even had a triple from Mason Wynn to end that little stretch. Went off the tip of Jesus Sanchez's glove. It's just the kind of stuff that happens. You make an error, and immediately, you get a bad walk. All of a sudden, the guy hits a blooper. There's an error. Um, just the stuff of losing streaks, the stuff of losing baseball games. Um, yeah, but that kicks off the inning. It was a Paul Goldschmidt ground out that would have made it 2 outs, and the Cardinals go on to score 5 runs. It was cool to be from the Marlins' perspective, I guess, to be a part of opening day at Bush Stadium. Um, it's hard to find the positives after this kind of start. 0-8. Ethan said the Marlins have been here before. Last year, this team struggled early on. I think after 8 games, it was either 3-5 or 4-4 at worst. Um, but yeah, they can pick themselves up, and we knew things were not going great early on in the season, and they figured some stuff out. But I mean, this is disastrous. I haven't even started talking about Yuri Perez, who we have now found out will be missing the entire 2024 season, getting Tommy John surgery. That probably means a good portion of 2025 as well. We're going to have a whole nother episode on that tomorrow. That was the really bad news today. And then the Marlins once again had an 85% chance of winning and blew it. Um, yeah, I think my mood and my disheveled look that I'm going with right now, if you're watching this on Twitter or YouTube, kind of embody the way that this fan base and I'm sure the clubhouse is feeling at this point. Uh, Numbers wise, Ethan touched on it. Jake Berger, great game. Jazz, a couple bunt singles. Tim Anderson was 2 for 4, although one of those was a swinging bunt. He was lucky to get on with. Kind of tripled down the third baseline and his speed won out. Outside of that, Bell and Arise both had a hit. Luis Arise 1 for 5. He has been, I'd argue, the most negative compared to last year out of any Marlin, not including, I guess, Sixto and Yuri Perez, who have not been able to pitch, and really the entire rotation. The rotation as a whole, I guess, would be a big negative, but not having Sandy and Yuri has been a big loss. But Luis Arise, his output so far in this first little stretch has been Uh, not great. Coming back down to earth, to say the least. I'm pretty sure at this point in the season he was hitting like 560 last year, something crazy like that. He was definitely still over 400 after 8 games. Today, 1 for 5, a hit later on in the ball game that didn't end up really mattering. Jake Berger, 2 home runs in his return. He's from Missouri, grew up a Cardinals fan. Opening day at Busch Stadium, gave the Marlins an early lead, or tied it early, and then extended the lead to, I want to say, either 4-2 or 5-2. Yeah, 4-2. Didn't end up mattering. Uh, Great day for Berger, though. He hit that home run right after Josh Bell's, literally the next pitch, if I'm not mistaken. Um, Great for Berger. Good to see Josh Bell put one over. Wind was blowing out today. Jesus Sanchez had one that almost made it out. Um, but yeah, tough one. Another tough one. If there's good news, I mean, I'd say the Cardinals had to go deep in their bullpen, but nobody in that pen threw 20 pitches. I was going to be harsh on Sixto coming in, felt like it, and then you kind of look back and you see the Luis Ariz error, and you go, well, if he had 2 outs and nobody on, I'm sure Sixto gets out of that uh, without a run even allowed. Just just it's a loss that's part of a losing streak. It felt like that in every sense. Good news for the Marlins. Um, there's that picture that goes around with that Craig Mish tweeted out a while ago. It says, "I'd say this is a low point, but there's a game tomorrow." Good news, there is no game tomorrow. Marlins fans, you can rejoice. We are done for 48 hours. Uh, Starting back up again on Saturday. Looks like some rain Sunday, so maybe we'll be uh, 1-8 or 0-9 when they show that graphic on the MLB Network scorebug. Marlins Yankees, I believe, is being carried on MLB Network. It's like a 2 o'clock start on Monday. So everyone's going to come in from the eclipse, and first thing they'll see is Marlins baseball. Maybe their eyes, maybe people looked in the sun. They won't be able to quite make out the 0-9 next to the Marlins name. That's the that's the hope at this point. Yeah, tough one. Another tough one for the fish. Don't want to bask in it too much. I don't know if bask is the right word. I feel like that's a positive connotation. This feels a lot more like suffering. Um, but yeah, I think we're going to cut it a little short. Tomorrow we're going to talk about Yuri Perez. 6 p.m. start, says Ethan Bernstein. Don't know what he's talking about. Don't know. That's just a comment that Ethan left. I assume 6 p.m. start is not referring to the Yankees game. Oh, you know what? I am mistaken. I think they moved the Marlins Yankees game to 6 on Monday. So if you planned on watching the national championship, good. You should do that because that will be much more pleasurable than watching Marlins baseball if things keep up the way they are. Now things will turn around. We said it early on, and it feels like just keeps on going. Pretty crazy that it keeps on going. Nonetheless, things will get turned around. You know, it's baseball. The Marlins are going to go on a 5-game winning streak that doesn't make sense at some point soon. I hope maybe. Um, it's a dark start to the season, both with now the news of Yuri Perez. If that would have happened, had maybe he keeps trying to get back into things if the Marlins aren't struggling as much as they are. Uh, I don't think anybody really sees this team getting back to 500 at any point. They will bounce back a little bit, but this feels like one of those years for the Marlins. We had 2021, 2022 sort of felt like, how is this team doing this? Um, it sort of feels like you're going to get a lot of projects, a lot of faces moving in and out of the lineup, of the bullpen, of the rotation. At this point, hopefully Edward Cabrera uh, sees his way back soon. But yeah, negative, negative, negative is not what I try to be on here. But to this point in the season, there hasn't been a lot of positive. Jake Berger, a big positive today. And to be honest, I did have a very, very fun episode planned. I had a couple things planned if the Marlins had won, and I felt like things were going well, 85% at one point in this ball game. Felt like the Marlins had kind of figured a couple things out. Felt like things were headed in a positive direction, and then yeah, Sixto Sanchez comes in. There's the error. Andrew Nardi comes in for Sixto. Not much better. I think he even allowed 2 runs just himself, including that triple that drove in a run late in the inning. Just tough stuff for the Marlins. They don't play tomorrow. That's the good news. We'll see you Saturday, and hopefully maybe not Sunday. We'll only have 9 games through these first few series, depending on what happens with the weather in the Midwest. Um, yeah, that's all I got. Ethan, I think, gave us a great catchphrase to end this with. Thank you for watching. My name is Kyle Kruse. Ethan Bernstein, you heard him a little earlier. You'll hear Nick Esposito tomorrow. We're going to talk about Yuri Perez and what his loss means for this team. There was also some trade news already mentioning Luis Arraez and Jesus Luzardo in the early going. We'll see. But yeah, from Marlins in the morning, I'm Kyle Cruzy, and boy, I like this line. Go watch the Panthers. Go watch the Panthers. Enjoy it.